Does your bike make that noise when you brake? Today, we're going to show you how to fix it. Lewis here from Recycle Bicycle Sales. Today, we're going to be talking about contaminated brakes. Now, this is much more common on disc brakes. It happens when some road grime or some oil perhaps gets onto the brake rotor and then finds its way through the brake caliper and can just make everything dirty and contaminated. The main thing we're going to do here is just give the whole system a really deep clean. So there's 3 components that we're going to be deep cleaning here: the brake pads, the brake rotor, and the caliper. Step number 1 is we need to pull the brake system apart. Firstly, we're going to be taking the rear wheel out, and then we'll follow that up by taking out the brake pads as well. To remove your brake pads, we need to take out this pin here. Now, this pin could be in the form of an Allen key like this one here. It could be perhaps a flathead screwdriver, or more commonly, it could be a split pin that looks like this. With this split pin here, when it's in the bike, you'll find that it's been bent out of shape to lock it into place. To be able to take it out, you'll have to bend it back straight so that you can slide it back out. You'll need a set of pliers to do this. It's too difficult to do with your fingers. Once the pin is out, the pads should slide straight out of the caliper. Step number 1 is we're going to clean the caliper. The way that we clean the caliper is we use some form of isopropyl or alcohol. You could even perhaps buy a proper disc brake cleaner. What you'll find is that it's incredibly heavy in alcohol. Alcohol is very useful for doing this sort of thing because it dries very quickly. It will help evaporate any sort of contaminants that we have on there. So we're literally just going to spray on the caliper, on the outside, and making sure that we get some on the inside as well. We don't need to absolutely drown it. We just need to make it wet because we're going to use our brand new paper towel to then clean it. I don't like to use a rag here because the rag could have some more contaminants on it. So a brand new paper towel. It's important to note that when you're cleaning the brake caliper, you have to clean inside the caliper as well, not just on the outside. That's because this is where the contaminant usually will be. You can see how much dirt and grime is coming out of this. I would argue this is not a whole lot. Yours might be even worse. Just keep going until your brand new paper towel, or you might have replaced it by now and gone to a second one. Make sure that you're cleaning it all the way until this is not showing any more dirt. If perhaps you don't want to buy a whole bottle of the isopropyl alcohol, there's a company that I love actually called Bikey Wipes that make one called the Rotor Wipe. The Rotor Wipe is literally just, it looks like a baby wipe, but it's heavy in alcohol. So it smells just like alcohol, which is what you need to be able to clean the whole brake system. So you could use this for cleaning the caliper or for cleaning the brake rotor as well. So if you don't want to buy a whole bottle of isopropyl alcohol, you might find a set of Bikey Wipes will do the job even better. Step 2, cleaning the brake rotor. Again, we can spray just your isopropyl alcohol on there and use a rag, but instead I'm going to use one of these Bikey Wipes rotor wipes here. We're literally just going to clean the brake rotor on both sides, the inside and the outside, and really do go over the top with it. Yeah, look at that. Look at how dirty it was. We want to keep going until there's no more dirt coming off of it. We want to really go over the top and make sure that it's as clean as we can. Another little top tip here that you could do to make it work a little bit better is if you grab a little bit of sandpaper and just scratch the brake rotor a little bit. You don't have to go over the top here. All we're trying to do is make the brake rotor a little bit more abrasive, a little bit more bumpy. The third part that we need to clean is the brake pads. Now, the way that I like to do this is I get some sandpaper. Hopefully it's nice and clean and it doesn't have any contaminants on it. And all we're gonna do is scratch off the top layer of these brake pads. I like to do it by just simply doing like a figure 8 form, not just circles, but a figure 8. I find that seems to work best for me at least. This is what it might look like if it's contaminated. It's a little bit dirtier and black. And then once you've cleaned it, it should hopefully look a little bit more like this. You want to keep going until they look like the bottom one. And now we're ready to put our brake system back together. So let's start by grabbing our brake pads and our little pin as well. And we're going to put the brake pads back in where they need to go and put our pin back in there. Split pin, Allen key, flathead screwdriver, whatever it is. Make sure that that bolt is as tight as it needs to be. You don't have to stand on it, just so that it's not going to undo itself while you're riding. And then don't forget our little safety pin as well. We're just going to clip that back on just in case everything went wrong while you're out riding. Now we're all back on. Cool, let's put the wheel back in and test it. Perfect, now that we've got it all back together, let's give it a little test. Silence, much better. But it always works well in the stand. Let's try it out on the floor again as well. Nice, much better. Much better, all cleaned. I hope you guys have learned something about how to decontaminate your rear brakes, or brakes in general, I suppose. It's worth noting as well that all of this is obviously going to be easier if you just replace the brake pads and the brake rotor. However, obviously given the name of our shop, we're always gonna love being able to bring parts back to life and make sure that we can recycle those components as well. So I hope you've learned something. If there's anything that you think that we've missed or something that you reckon that somebody else might not know, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it. I'm always ready to learn. Otherwise, I'm gonna say thank you for watching and we'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.